Hey everyone, Richard Bass here from Thriving with Richard Bass. Today we're talking about something absolutely fundamental to child development that often gets overlooked: co-regulation. If you've ever found yourself saying, just calm down, to an upset child only to watch them become even more dysregulated, this video is for you. As both a special education teacher for over a decade and an author of parenting books, I've seen firsthand that self-regulation doesn't magically appear. It develops through co-regulation with supportive adults. In the next 10 minutes, I'll explain what co-regulation actually is, why it must come before self-regulation, and give you specific practical strategies that work in real homes and classrooms. Let's dive in. What is co-regulation? Co-regulation is the process where an adult lends their calm, regulated nervous system to help a child who's overwhelmed by emotion. Think of it like emotional training wheels. You're providing support while your child gradually builds the neural pathways needed to regulate independently. Here's the crucial point many parents miss. Self-regulation is not an innate skill. It's a developmental process that happens through repeated experiences of co-regulation with adults. Your child's brain literally needs your calm presence to develop the neural connections that will eventually allow independent regulation. This isn't just feel-good theory. Neuroscience shows us that when children experience overwhelming emotions, their limbic system, emotional brain, activates while their prefrontal cortex, thinking brain, goes offline. In this state, children physically cannot reason, problem solve, or control their emotions without support. Real-world example: the grocery store. Meltdown. Let me share a scenario I witnessed with a parent I was coaching. 4-year-old Jamie was having a complete meltdown in the grocery store after being told he couldn't have a toy. His mom, Tracy, had two choices. Option 1, stop crying right now or we're leaving. You're too old for this behavior. Option 2, I see you're really upset about the toy. It's hard when we want something we can't have right now. I'm right here with you while you feel disappointed. Tracy chose option 2, getting down at Jamie's level, using a calm voice and simply being present with his emotions. Within 2 minutes, which felt much longer in the middle of the store, Jamie's breathing slowed and he was able to hold her hand and continue shopping. The key wasn't giving in about the toy. The boundary remained firm. The difference was lending her calm instead of adding more stress to his already overwhelmed system. Over time, these moments teach Jamie's brain that big feelings are manageable and temporary. Why co-regulation must come first. When we expect children to self-regulate before they've developed the capacity through co-regulation, we're setting them up for failure. It's like expecting a child to ride a bike without training wheels before they've developed the necessary balance. Many so-called behavior problems are actually stress responses from children whose regulatory systems are overwhelmed. Punishment doesn't teach regulation. It actually makes it harder for children to develop these skills because it activates their stress response system. For children with neurodevelopmental differences like ADHD, autism, or sensory processing issues, co-regulation is even more crucial as their regulatory systems often develop at a different pace or in different ways. Practical co-regulation strategies. Let me share 5 concrete strategies that work in real homes and classrooms. 1. Validate emotions without fixing them. When your child is upset about a broken toy, instead of immediately offering a new one or saying it's not a big deal, try, "You're really sad about your truck breaking. It was your favorite one." Sometimes just naming and accepting the emotion is enough to help a child move through it. In my classroom, I had a student, Marcus, who had become extremely frustrated with writing tasks. When I started simply acknowledging, writing is really challenging and that feels frustrating, his outburst decreased dramatically. The task remained the same, but the emotional experience changed when he felt understood. Second match, then gently downshift. Start by matching your child's energy level, not their emotion, to connect. Then gradually bring the energy down. This might look like, for high energy, start with animated validation. Wow, you are really angry right now. Then slowly lower your voice and slow your speech. For shutdown, start with a quiet, gentle approach and gradually bring energy up as they reconnect. A parent I worked with, David, would match his 7-year-old daughter's big energy when she was upset, saying with animation, "You are so frustrated right now." Then he'd gradually slow his speech and lower his volume, watching as she unconsciously followed his regulatory cues. Third, offer physical co-regulation. Our bodies communicate regulation more effectively than our words. Try deep, visible breathing your child can mirror. Gentle touch if welcomed, hand on back, holding hands. Rocking or swaying, humming or singing in a rhythmic pattern. 8-year-old Zoe would have meltdowns where words just escalated her distress. Her mom found that sitting next to her and exaggerating her own breathing without demanding Zoe copy her would gradually lead to Zoe's breathing synchronizing, no words needed. 4. Create regulation spaces, not punishment corners. Designate a comfortable space with soft items for comfort, sensory tools, stress balls, weighted items, visual supports showing regulation strategies, a way to signal needed space versus wanted connection. In my classroom, we had a reset corner with noise-canceling headphones, weighted lap pads, visual breathing guides, and fidgets. Students could choose to use it themselves, or I would gently guide them there when I noticed early dysregulation signs. The key, it was never punishment, always support. 5. Narrate the regulation process. As your child calms, gently narrate what's happening. I notice your breathing is getting slower. Your body is calming down. Those big feelings are passing through. This metacognitive narration helps children develop awareness of regulation and builds the language they'll eventually use in their own self-talk. Common pitfalls to avoid. Let me quickly highlight what doesn't work. Demanding calm before connection. Calm down and then we'll talk doesn't work because children need connection to reach calm. Shaming emotional responses, "big boys don't cry," or "you're being ridiculous," teaches children to suppress rather than regulate emotions. Skipping to problem solving too quickly. Wait until the emotional intensity has decreased before addressing the triggering issue. Inconsistent responses. If sometimes you co-regulate and other times you punish the same emotional responses, children learn confusion rather than regulation. Forgetting to regulate yourself first, you cannot lend calm that you don't have. Sometimes you need to take a deep breath or step away briefly to maintain your own regulation. Moving towards self-regulation. Over time, consistent co-regulation helps children internalize these skills. You'll begin to see them using regulation strategies independently. This transition isn't linear. Children may need full co-regulation during times of stress, illness, or transition, even after showing self-regulation skills in other contexts. As they develop, you can gradually shift from doing the regulation for them to doing it with them to reminding them of their own strategies. For some children, this happens by age 4 to 5. For others, especially those with neurodevelopmental differences, this process may extend much longer. One mother I worked with noticed her 10-year-old starting to say, "Mom, I need some deep breaths with you." When he felt overwhelmed, a beautiful step toward recognizing his needs and seeking appropriate support. This isn't failure, it's healthy emotional awareness. Remember, the goal isn't to have perfectly behaved children who never show emotion. The goal is to raise emotionally intelligent humans who can recognize, name, and move through their feelings in healthy ways. Every time you co-regulate with your child, you're not just solving an immediate crisis. You're literally building neural pathways that will serve them throughout their lives. Co-regulation isn't permissive parenting. You can maintain firm boundaries while still offering emotional support. In fact, children are much more able to accept limits when they feel regulated and connected. That's all for today. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to Thriving with Richard Bass. Drop a comment below sharing your experiences with co-regulation. What strategies have worked for your family? See you in the next video.